I have the pleasure of introducing our next speaker, who is Devine, who served as the Director for Treatment Services for many years. When Judge Bearden said that we have some visionaries today, I think that that is a wonderful description of Devine. He is very forward-thinking. He has a great compassion and a passion for serving others and has a servant's heart. He built a great foundation for treatment services, which Ms. Mott continued to build on for many years. And we're continuing that work in hopes of expanding our programming and bringing positive change to our community. So, Mike, come on.
How y'all doing? I wanted to also congratulate y'all. You know, this is not an easy thing to get through a couple of years in a program and to get this next opportunity in your life and to step forward into it. It's an amazing thing. For me, I began working as a counselor in the field of addiction in 1991. And also I was working with addicts and family and in a dual diagnosis and mental health. And over the years, something happened that those of us who pay attention to research, it was very frustrating. Because the thing that we need in treatment is time. We need length of stay is the greatest predictor. The longer you stay sober, the more likely you're going to stay sober. It's almost like this logic piece, and insurance kept taking it away. And I was working, we had moved to Georgia in the late 90s, and I was working at the Commencement Center in Athens. And I heard about this thing called drug court. And then so I started checking that out, and it turned out, wow, you get 2 years to work with somebody. I know that's not 2 years is a long time for y'all. 2 years to work with somebody, though, for someone like me who wants to see life change. Man, that was just an incredible opportunity because I was getting like 2 weeks. And just think about that, how much recovery you got in 2 weeks versus how much recovery you got in 2 years. So I applied, and they got crazy and hired me as clinical director. It was at a time, this is an interesting kind of beginning to this. When I came in, they had a staff transition. Is that a good way to put it? There had been a transition of the staff. And so, y'all remember Matt Wright? Some of you been Matthew Wright? You remember Matt? Matt was the only one that was working with 60 participants. So when I walked in, Matt was in group, and he saw me walk in, and he can't tell you the smile on Matt's face as he saw somebody come in. He didn't care who I was. That didn't matter. It's like, somebody help me. And that was the beginning of our relationship and working together, and it has been amazing. Legend is a good word for Judge Gerardo. He is a mentor to me. My life has changed because of the work that we did together, the relationship that we have. I worked with, and I'm going to name some names, but no, there are many, many more. Steve Farrell, Deborah Nesbitt with the AOC, Jane Martin. In the early days, we had a lot of work to do. Judge Steele, Judge Wynn in the DUI round, Judge Coslin, Judge Jolly, Reggie Forrester, just so much, and all that was under Judge Fuller's leadership back in those days. And it wasn't sure that we were going to survive, back then. It wasn't a secure thing. Governor Deal is right that, there wasn't there was a lot of skepticism about, what is this kind of being nice to criminals kind of thing? What are you doing here? And so we were, Judge Gerard did a lot of the background work, and then we reached the point of our first graduation. And graduation number 1, I think, is where all of that changed. Because we had the county commissioners in, and they heard your stories. There's a power in story. Tell your story. It matters. The reason we share in meetings is because your story matters. There's going to be somebody who walks in who needs your story. There are people who need my story. Our stories matter. And that was when it got sealed, I think, is when when you look at the county commissioners and they're tearing up and crying, and that moved things forward, I think. And it has been a blessing to work with a group that normally doesn't play well together. When you think about law enforcement and defense attorneys and prosecutors and judges and treatment professionals, probation officers, and we're all together on a team. It is truly remarkable what drug courts do, accountability courts do, and I'm honored to be here, but just to have, and looking back when Jesse called me and thinking about all of the people that have come into my life because of accountability courts, it's incredible. And I don't deserve any of what I have, right? I was just going to tell you that how does an oil-filled drunken drug addict end up here, right? If I'm in a sober recovery meeting, I had a sponsor, my first sponsor, he told me this. He said, hey, when you're in a meeting, introduce yourself appropriate to a meeting and then share whatever you need to share in order to stay sober for clean for one more day. So if I'm in a celebrate recovery meeting, I'm Mike, I'm a believer who's in recovery from alcohol and drugs. If I'm in AA, I'm an alcoholic, and if I'm in NA, I'm a drug addict. And then I share whatever I need to share that day in order to stay sober for one more day. So how does a person like me end up here before y'all? The 100th graduation of drug court. It's impossible, right? Only it happened. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. See, I come from an upbringing of abuse, physical, mental, emotional, sexual abuse, and I'm not going to talk about any of that. Just be grateful. Alcohol and drugs, though, they were for a time my solution. They were the thing that helped me to be okay. And as y'all know, as you keep going, that kind of changes. I needed something to help me to be okay because y'all look really good. And I felt really bad. And when I looked at my insides compared to your outsides, I didn't see the same. And y'all had it together, and I was scared. And I couldn't let you know that I was scared. I couldn't let you know that I didn't know. Right? But I didn't know. So alcohol and drugs was a way for me to kind of ease all of that and block all that out. And then it turned. I'm a methamphetamine addict, so it escalated. It turned pretty quick. Got 3 DUI convictions before I was 21. Had broken relationships throughout all of that time, and I had a suicide attempt at 25. It was not successful. And then it got worse because I didn't get sober for 4 more years. You can imagine what that was like. Then I got sober on March 27, 1990. And then everything has been hunky-dory and perfect and smooth ever since. No, it's not like that. This is life. Life is in session. How are you going to be present? What are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with each of your 1 days at a time? Because that's really what we got. We got today. What are you going to do with it? What is it going to matter? Bob Goff wrote a book. It's called Love Does. And there's a quote in it, and I really love this quote. I love the book. Recommend it. The quote is this. It says, every morning when we wake up, we have the opportunity to actually live a life of complete engagement. A life of whimsy. Love that word. A life where love does. Complete engagement. See, every day you get to choose whether you will engage in life or whether you will let life dictate to you what's next. It's your choice. You get to decide if you're going to survive or if you're going to live and thrive. It's up to you. And by the way, not making a decision is making a decision, in case you're wondering. You're going to choose what your priorities are, or the world's going to choose them for you. It's up to you. You get to do that. You have the freedom now. You're not bound to drugs and not bound to alcohol. You get to choose. The big book puts it this way. You have a daily reprieve contingent on the maintenance of my spiritual condition, right? I have a daily reprieve is contingent on the maintenance of my spiritual condition. The way that I define that, my spiritual condition is not my attitude. That's a spiritual thing. You can give me attitude, but you can't hand me your attitude. But my attitude, be positive. Look at things in a positive light. Find the hope in it because it's there. Look, what you look for, you're going to find. Look for it. Look for what's good. Look for what's right because it's there. Beliefs is another part of my attitude. That's my higher power, God. I'm a believer. It's also belief in self, belief that I can do one more day, that I can stay sober one more day. What do you believe and how I keep those? If you have a positive attitude, you can probably have a better belief set. And the last is character. Am I following the moral values that are important to me? Am I following through? If you keep those things in a positive light, headed in the right direction, the likelihood is that you're going to get a daily reprieve because you're maintaining your spiritual condition. It's a life of complete engagement. Now, my favorite word is whimsy. It's a life of whimsy. Something whimsical is playful, fun-loving, perhaps a bit peculiar. Don't ask them about me being peculiar, they'll lie. What if we had fun in recovery? What if recovery was fun? You know, so many of us get in here and say, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and quit, but I know that life is over and fun is done and it's gonna be boring and terrible. I got news for you. You can have fun in recovery. You should be having fun in recovery. Here's a crazy thing that came to me a long, long time ago. Did you know that absolutely nothing actually changed about me when I drank and drug? Physically, I didn't become bigger, stronger, smarter. I just thought I did. Why don't I do that without the substance? Why don't we choose that? How powerful would that be in our lives? See, meth gave me courage. I can have courage without meth. Who knew? I didn't know. Did you? So when I got clean, I chose to be courageous. And at the end of the day, we choose how we will react to life. We choose. We choose. You have been given back the power of choice when you got clean and sober. You get to choose a life where love does. One of the things that I'm relatively certain, I didn't ask Jesse, but I'm sure it's still being said, particularly by new participants, is they're out to get me. Right? Anybody said that, man? Never mind, don't fess up. Did you know that the best way to get you is simply to shut down the program? Gotcha. No more chance. You heard earlier about how the staff cares. They do. See, I think that they're out to get me comes because we have a view of how people care about us that's skewed, because we have a view of love that is not accurate. See, it's easy to think of love as a soft, touchy-feely thing. Did you know that sometimes love is holding you accountable? Sometimes love is telling you stuff you don't want to hear because you need it for one more day. Love is an action. Love is a commitment to seeing you better off for having come in contact with me. I love you. Now, we don't throw I love you around in drug court. I didn't, that's not sexy or anything. But we love you. And that's why we do what we do. That's why we embrace the challenge that every addict and alcoholic brings. And y'all bring challenges. It's who we are. I know personally. I brought challenges to people in my life. You are loved. You are cared for. And you are not alone anymore unless I choose to be alone. So to the graduates in particular, but participants in general, I want to leave you with two last thoughts. One is simply do the next right thing, right? So often in life, it becomes big, right? There's all this stuff is happening, and what do? Well, you do the next right thing. But what then? You do the next right thing. You know what you do after you do the next right thing? And then what? And then the next right thing. And then all becomes one at a time. One at a time is doable. Because you're going to face life, and life is going to kick your tail. That's what's going to happen. There's going to be bad days. There's going to be tough times. But in that process, if you figure out how to do the next right thing, that's why we have sponsors. That's why we have people around us. What's the next right thing? When you get overwhelmed and it seems like too much, simplify. What's the next right thing? And the last thing I want to leave you with is this. Don't quit 5 minutes before your miracle. Don't quit 5 minutes before your miracle. You don't know when your miracle is. Don't quit. Don't give up. Choose life. Don't choose death. Don't quit 5 minutes before your miracle, all right? It is a gift to be here. I am so grateful. I want to thank Jesse for the invitation, and I'm honored to be with such an amazing group of people. Y'all can do this. Just trust me. If I can, you can. Thank you.